Good morning, my beloved friend. This morning, as the first light stretches gently across the horizon, the air feels different, calmer, purer, almost as if the world is holding its breath in reverence. The dew clings to each blade of grass. The quiet hum of creation stirs awake, and there is a sacred stillness that only dawn can carry. It is a moment untouched by the noise of the day, a space where hearts can hear the whisper of eternity more clearly than at any other hour. I want you to picture someone. Perhaps it is someone you know. Perhaps it is a reflection of your own story, sitting alone in a small kitchen before the sun has fully risen. A half-empty mug of coffee grows cold beside them. Their eyes are red from another sleepless night. They have been carrying a weight that words cannot fully capture. The loss of someone they love deeply, the ache of dreams that seem too far gone, or the gnawing fear of an uncertain tomorrow. They feel unseen, unheard, and unbearably tired. They are wondering if anyone, anywhere, could possibly understand. And yet, there in the quiet, something begins to stir, a memory of a time when life was lighter, when hope felt near, when they believed that no storm could last forever. It is fragile, like the first flicker of light on the horizon, but it is enough to remind them that the story is not finished, that somewhere beyond the veil of pain, there is still a hand reaching for theirs. This is where faith begins, not in the absence of struggle, but in the choice to trust in the midst of it. Faith is not pretending that the valley is easy. It is believing there is a way through. It is the steady voice that says you are not alone, even when every shadow tells you otherwise. And prayer is the bridge that carries you from the trembling of your soul to the steadiness of His promises. Prayer is not a ritual to fill the silence. It is the living conversation that invites light into darkness and peace into chaos. This morning, I want to invite you to step onto that bridge. Leave behind, for just this moment, the noise of your worries and the heaviness of your fears. Let this time be a meeting place where your heart and the heart of God draw close. We are not here to impress Him with perfect words. We are here to open our hands, to bare our hearts, to welcome His presence into every hidden place. So wherever you are, whether you are standing at the edge of a new beginning or feeling trapped in the middle of a storm, let these moments be set apart. Let them be the first fruits of your day, offered in quiet surrender and in expectant hope. The dawn is breaking, the world is waking, and heaven is near. Now, let us walk together into the presence of the One who holds every fear and turns it into faith. Dear Heavenly Father, this morning I come to you with my heart wide open, carrying the weight of what I feel, but also the hope of what I know you can do. The sun has barely risen, and the quiet of this early hour feels like a safe place to be honest with you. I do not want to hide behind polished words or pretend that I am stronger than I am. You see every thought before I speak it, every fear before I name it, and still you welcome me into your presence. I stand here in the soft light of dawn, aware of how much I need you, aware that without you my heart will wander into the shadows of worry and doubt. I am grateful for this moment, because it is here, in the beginning of the day, that I can set my gaze on you before the demands and voices of the world pull me in different directions. There are things in my life that feel too big for me to face. They loom like mountains that block the horizon, making it hard to imagine anything beyond them. Sometimes fear whispers that these mountains will never move, that I will always wake up feeling the same weight pressing on my chest. Yet even as those thoughts try to take root, I choose to bring them to you. I lay them at your feet, not because I am certain of how you will act, but because I trust in who you are. I have seen you work before, even in small ways that no one else noticed. I have felt your peace cover me when I thought my heart would break. And so I bring you the same trust again this morning, believing that you are already working in ways I cannot see. The air feels still now, almost as if the world itself is holding its breath. In this stillness, I hear the quiet reminder that you have not changed. The same hands that formed the sky above me are holding me now. The same voice that called light out of darkness is speaking over my life. I let that truth sink deeper than my fears. I picture myself placing every anxious thought into your hands, one by one, until there is nothing left for me to grip so tightly. I want to begin this day with my heart unclenched, my spirit ready to receive whatever you have prepared for me. I think about the road ahead today, the conversations I will have, the decisions I must make, the unexpected moments that will either lift me up or test my patience. I do not want to walk into any of it alone. I want to walk with the awareness that you are beside me in every step. When fear tries to paint the day in dark colors, help me to remember that you are the light that cannot be overcome. When doubt tries to whisper that I am not enough, remind me that in you I am already loved, already chosen, already secure. There is something about this hour, this space before the world fully wakes, that feels like an invitation. It is as if you are drawing me close, speaking softly so that I have to lean in to hear. I want to lean in, Lord. I want to quiet the noise inside my mind so that your voice is the first I hear and the last I hold on to. Let every word from you take root deep within me, growing into courage, peace, and unshakable faith. This morning I also bring to you the faces and names that are on my heart, the people I love who are walking through their own shadows, who may be carrying burdens heavier than they can admit. I lift them to you, asking that your presence would wrap around them like the first warmth of the morning sun. Let them feel seen. Let them know they are not forgotten. Where fear has gripped their hearts, loosen its hold and replace it with the steady assurance that you are with them. I do not know what today will bring, but I know the one who holds the day in his hands. And that is enough for me. I choose to believe that no matter what I face, you will be my refuge and my strength. I choose to begin this day not with dread, but with expectancy, looking for the ways you will meet me, guide me, and surprise me with your goodness. Even as I breathe in the crisp morning air, I breathe in your peace. I let it fill every space where worry has lived. I imagine that peace flowing like a quiet river through my mind, carrying away the restless thoughts that keep me from trusting fully. I do not have to have all the answers right now. I simply need to keep my eyes on you. And so here I am. Father, standing at the edge of a new day, my hands open, my heart ready. Whatever comes, let me meet it with faith instead of fear. Let my words and my actions be rooted in the truth that you are with me. Let the light of your presence shine on me and through me. From the first step I take this morning to the last breath I draw tonight. Lord, as the light of this morning grows brighter, I sense the gentle pull to go deeper than I did before. It is not enough for me to simply stand in your presence. I feel you inviting me to place every hidden part of my life into your hands. I come carrying the pieces I have tried to hold together on my own, those areas I still guard, because releasing them feels risky. Yet, I know that the safety I search for is not found in my grip, but in yours. The first steps I took toward you were honest, but now I choose to walk further, to lay down not only my fears, but also the control I cling to when I am unsure. I bring before you the plans I have formed in my own mind, the outcomes I have silently hoped for, and the ways I have tried to force things into place. I see now how these have sometimes been more about my will than yours. I release them, Father, because I am learning that surrender is not loss, but the path to true freedom. You see the whole picture while I only hold fragments. You understand every detail, every timing, every thread of connection that my eyes cannot trace. My part is not to orchestrate, but to trust that you already have the story written in a way that is for my good and for your glory. I think about the areas of my life that still feel unsettled, the decisions waiting to be made, the relationships that carry tension, the prayers that seem unanswered. I place each of these at your feet, not with the demand that they be resolved according to my desires, but with the humility to say, have your way in this, Lord. I confess how often I have stepped ahead of you, trying to make things happen by my own strength, only to find myself more wary. Now I choose to wait for your direction instead of rushing ahead in fear. The world teaches me to hold tightly to what I have, to guard my heart by building walls, to only give away what feels safe. You call me to open my hands, to let go of the illusion that I am in control. So I open them now in my mind and in my spirit, imagining every burden slipping from my grasp into yours. As I do, I feel the weight shift. It is not that the circumstances change instantly, but my posture toward them does. I am no longer the one trying to carry everything alone. I am the child placing every need into the care of a Father who does not fail. There are parts of my heart I have been hesitant to let you touch because they carry old wounds. Yet I realize that healing can only come when I stop hiding them. So I bring them into the light of your presence, the memories I avoid, the disappointments I have buried, the fears I rarely speak aloud. I do not know exactly what you will do with them, but I trust that you will handle them with gentleness and wisdom. You know what to restore, what to remove, and what to transform. As I surrender, I ask for the grace to let go daily, not just in this moment. I know that fear will try to pull me back towards self-reliance, whispering that I must keep control to be safe. When that voice comes, remind me of this moment, the peace I feel when I place it all in your care. Let that memory silence the urge to take back what I have given to you. I surrender not only the difficult things, but also the good ones I treasure. My ambitions, my opportunities, my resources, they are all yours. Use them in ways that serve your purposes, even if it means leading me where I would not have gone on my own. I want my life to reflect that I belong to you entirely, not in part. This surrender is not a sign of defeat, but of trust. I trust that you can do far more with my life than I can. I trust that your timing, though often different from mine, is perfect. I trust that even the detours and delays are working something within me that is of eternal value. I trust that in giving you everything, I am actually gaining the life I was meant to live. So here I am, Lord, with nothing held back. My plans, my fears, my hopes, my failures, my desires, my uncertainties all rest in your hands now. Teach me to walk lightly, free from the weight of trying to control what only you can govern. Teach me to recognize the beauty of releasing my will into yours, to see it not as loss but as the truest form of love and faith. And as this day unfolds, let my every step be shaped by this choice, my every word carry the tone of trust, and my every thought be anchored in the knowledge that I am safe when I am fully surrendered to you. Father, as I release my hold on what I cannot control, I feel you leading me to turn my eyes backward, not to dwell on old wounds, but to remember the moments when you have already shown yourself faithful. It is as though you are gently reminding me that my story is not only made of valleys, but also of the countless mountaintops you have already carried me to. In this early light, I let my mind walk through the corridors of my past, opening the doors to seasons I once thought I would never survive. I see them now with clarity I did not have then. There were nights I cried without words, believing no one heard, and yet somehow the morning came, and so did your mercy. There were days when resources were scarce, but provision found me in ways I could not have orchestrated. There were moments when I thought the door was closed forever, but you opened another, and it led me somewhere better than I had planned. These memories are not just stories. They are stones of remembrance, markers along the path that testify to your presence and power. I can see myself in those moments frail, unsure, wondering if I had been forgotten. But the truth is, you were there every time. You were the quiet strength that kept me standing when my legs wanted to give way. You were the whisper in the chaos that reminded me I was not abandoned. Even in the moments when I questioned your silence, you were already arranging the answers. I think of times when danger brushed too close, and yet I was spared. I think of relationships restored when I had given up hope, of healing that came slowly but completely, of opportunities that arrived at just the right time. None of these were accidents. They were your fingerprints pressed gently but unmistakably on my life. Even the small, ordinary blessings, sunlight after a week of rain, a timely word from a friend, the strength to get through a difficult task, were all threads in the fabric of your faithfulness. And so, in the face of what I see today, I let these memories speak louder than fear. I let them tell me that the God who carried me then is the same God who holds me now. When I look at the challenges ahead, I do so with the lens of what you have already done. I remember how you have brought me through storms before, and I refuse to believe that this one will be any different in the certainty of your care. You have proven yourself over and over again. And though I may not understand the path right now, I trust the one who walks it with me. There is comfort in knowing that every past victory was not because I was strong, but because you were. And if it was never about my strength then, it is not about my strength now. My heart steadies as I think about the times you have turned what seemed like endings into new beginnings. The moments I thought were closed chapters were actually prologues to something greater. As I hold these memories close, I also hold gratitude. Gratitude that you saw me when I felt invisible. Gratitude that you answered prayers I did not even have the courage to speak. Gratitude that your love has never been dependent on my perfection, but has met me faithfully in every season. This gratitude does more than make me thankful. It builds my faith. It tells me that the God of yesterday is still the God of today and tomorrow, and that nothing I face can erase the evidence of what you have done. I choose to rehearse these testimonies, not to cling to the past, but to remind my present that you have a perfect track record. When doubt tries to whisper that you may not come through this time, I silence it with the truth that you have never failed me. Not once. I can walk forward because the path behind me is lined with reminders of your goodness. Father, I ask that you keep these memories alive in my heart, not as sources of nostalgia, but as weapons against fear. Let them be a shield when anxiety tries to press in. Let them be a light when the road feels dark. Let them be the proof I point to when my faith is challenged. If you have done it before, I know you can do it again. And if the way forward feels unclear, I will keep walking, trusting that the same hand that led me through every past trial will guide me now. Today, I anchor myself in the truth of your deliverance. The winds may shift, the waters may rise, but I have seen you calm storms before. I have seen you make a way where there was none. I have seen you turn tears into laughter and despair into hope. And because of that, I will not fear what is ahead. I will remember. I will believe. I will trust the God who has never once let go of me. Lord, as I hold close the memories of how you have delivered me before, my heart begins to see today's challenges differently. What once felt like immovable walls now seem more like moments waiting for your command. I think of the places in my life that resemble the Red Sea, those impossible barriers where forward movement seems blocked and retreat feels like surrender. I stand at the edge, the waves of uncertainty before me, and the pressures of life pressing hard from behind. In the natural, there is no visible escape. But I remember that you have always been the God who makes a way where there is none. And so I turn my eyes from the water to you. I bring before you every circumstance that feels too vast for me to cross. I name them silently, each fear, each unmovable obstacle, each problem that has resisted every human effort to solve. I do not pretend they are small. They are real, and their weight is heavy. But heavier still is the truth of your power. I imagine the scene of the sea parting at the sound of your instruction, the impossible bending to your will, the very elements of creation obeying your voice. This is the God I am speaking to now, the one who has authority over the winds, the waves, and the walls that stand in my path. Give me the courage, Lord, not to fix my eyes on the size of what is against me, but on the strength of the one who is for me. When I am tempted to freeze in fear, remind me that faith is not about having a map in hand, but about trusting the one who leads the way. Let my heart be still enough to hear your direction, whether it is to move forward, to stand firm, or to wait for you to act. Help me not to measure your ability by the narrow lens of my own understanding. I speak your promises into the face of these obstacles. Where the enemy has tried to tell me it is over, I declare that you have the final word. Where the road seems closed, I declare that you are the one who opens what no one can shut. Where fear tries to drown my hope, I speak life and truth from your word, knowing that it will not return empty. I believe that my obedience, even in the smallest step, can set the stage for your miracle to unfold. Lord, I do not want to be like those who only see the water and the danger. Teach me to see with the eyes of faith the kind of vision that looks past the present barrier and sees the other side. I imagine the shore that waits beyond this sea, the place of freedom, peace, and promise you have prepared. Let that vision stir my spirit to keep trusting, even when the waves rise higher and the night grows darker. If my heart trembles, let it be with the anticipation of what you are about to do, not with fear of what might happen. Help me to remember that you are not bound by time, resources, or limitations. You do not panic at the size of the sea or the depth of the water. You simply speak, and creation responds. Speak into my situation now. Lord, let the path appear beneath my feet as I take each step in faith. I know there may be moments when I must stand still before moving forward, moments when the waiting feels endless. In those times, remind me that stillness in your presence is not wasted time, but a place of preparation. You are aligning every detail, moving hearts, shifting circumstances, and setting the stage for what will bring you glory. Give me the patience to let you work, and the humility to acknowledge that the victory will be yours alone. Lord, as I face my own Red Sea today, I choose to trust that you already have the way prepared. I choose to lift my voice in praise before the waters part. I choose to believe that what seems like the end is often the doorway to a greater beginning. And when the moment comes for me to step forward, let me do it without hesitation, knowing that I am walking on a path carved by your hand. I stand here, my eyes fixed on you, my faith anchored in your power, and my heart ready for whatever comes next. The sea may roar and the ground may shake, but I know that one word from you can change everything. And until that word comes, I will wait, I will trust, and I will keep speaking your truth into the face of what stands before me. Father, when I think about the seas I have just placed before you, I realize how much I need more than a path. I need a refuge. Even as I wait for the waters to part, the winds can howl and the waves can crash. And I know I must have a place of safety that nothing can shake. My heart longs for the security of knowing that no matter how fierce the storm, I am held in a shelter that cannot be moved. That shelter is you. You are not only my way forward, you are my stronghold right here, in the middle of the tempest. There are days when the storm is not just around me, but within me. Thoughts swirl like debris in the wind. Emotions rise and fall like pounding surf, and peace feels like a distant shore. But when I picture myself inside the walls of your fortress, I am reminded that the chaos outside cannot touch the safety you provide. In your presence, the noise loses its power, the fear loses its grip, and my soul can finally rest. I imagine a strong tower built on solid rock, its foundation sunk deep where no storm can reach. The rain may come and the rivers may swell, but this refuge stands unmoved. You are that tower, Lord, and I am safe when I run to you. I can almost hear the wind battering against the walls, but inside there is quiet, the kind of stillness that comes from knowing the one who guards me is stronger than anything that could threaten me. When fear tries to tell me that safety depends on my ability to control what happens next, I reject that lie and remind myself that my safety depends on who you are. You have never been overpowered, never been caught off guard, never been forced to retreat. Nothing can break through the defenses you place around those who trust in you. I can rest not because the danger disappears instantly, but because I am hidden in the shadow of your wings. Lord, I know there will be moments when the storm still rages, even after I have taken refuge in you. The wind may not die down right away, and the rain may still fall heavy. But in those moments, I ask for the grace to stay inside the shelter, instead of running out into the storm in panic. Teach me to anchor my heart to your promises so firmly that no gust of fear can tear it loose. Let me feel the steadiness of your presence as a constant reminder that I am not exposed. I am not vulnerable. I am not alone. I think about how easy it is to mistake the absence of trouble for peace. But the deeper truth is that real peace is found in your presence regardless of the trouble. You are my peace even when the skies are dark. You are my strength when I have none of my own left. You are my defender when I am too weary to fight. I bring you the specific storms swirling in my life, right now the ones that keep me awake at night. The ones that make my chest tighten with anxiety. I lay them all before you, not asking for a temporary escape, but for the unshakable assurance that I am safe in you no matter how long they last. Guard my mind so that I do not dwell on the what-ifs that fuel my fear. Guard my heart so that bitterness or despair cannot take root when the waiting feels long. Lord, help me remember that being in the fortress does not mean I am doing nothing. It means I am choosing to remain under your covering, to trust that you are working even when I cannot see it. It means I am letting you fight the battles I cannot win on my own. It means I am resting in the truth that your walls are stronger than any force that would try to breach them. So I will stay here, in this place of safety you have built for me. I will let the storms outside remind me of the strength of the shelter I am in. I will let the sound of the wind drive me deeper into your presence rather than away from it. I will hold fast to the knowledge that no matter how violent the world becomes, no matter how unpredictable the path ahead may be, I am secure because I belong to the one whose fortress has never fallen and never will. Lord, even as I rest within the safety of your fortress, I know that the battle is not only outside, but also within my own thoughts. The walls around me protect my life, but my mind can still be a battlefield where fear whispers in subtle, convincing tones. I can feel it try to creep in like a shadow through the smallest cracks, telling me that I am not strong enough, that I am unworthy, that the storm will eventually overwhelm me. These thoughts may come disguised as reason or caution, but I recognize them for what their lies meant, to pull me away from the truth you have spoken over me. I bring every one of these thoughts to you now. I will not pretend they are harmless. I will not let them take root and grow unchecked. When fear tries to tell me I am alone, I answer with truth, the truth that you will never leave me nor forsake me. When it says my future is uncertain and unsafe, I speak back that my times are in your hands. When it tries to convince me that I am powerless, I declare that your strength is made perfect in my weakness. Father, I ask you to train my mind to notice when fear is speaking, so that I can immediately confront it with the promises of your word. Do not let me agree with thoughts that diminish your power or question your goodness. Give me the discipline to replace every falsehood with the truth until it becomes my natural response. I know the enemy relies on repetition to plant his lies deep, but I will choose to repeat your truth until it is louder in my heart than any voice of fear. Help me to see that these lies often begin as small seeds of passing worry, a brief doubt that can grow into something that distorts how I see you and how I see myself. Teach me to uproot them before they spread. I do not want to carry around the weight of what is not from you. I want my mind to be a place where faith flourishes and fear cannot find a home. Lord, I also recognize that some lies are born from past wounds, from moments when I felt abandoned or let down. I bring those memories into the light now, asking you to heal the places where those false beliefs took root. Show me the moments when you were present, even if I could not see you. And let that knowledge rewrite the story in my mind. Where I once believed I was left alone, let me now believe I was carried. Where I thought I was defeated, let me see the quiet victory you were already working. I do not want to merely silence the lies. I want to fill the empty space they leave behind with words of life. Speak into my heart, Lord, and let your truth settle deeper than the voice of fear ever reached. Remind me daily that my worth is not determined by my performance, but by your love. Remind me that my future is not defined by my failures, but by your plans. Remind me that my strength comes not from my own ability, but from the one who holds all power. When the day grows noisy and the voices around me pull me in different directions, keep me anchored to what you have said. Let me measure every thought by whether it draws me closer to you or drives me into worry. Let me be quick to reject anything that is not align with your character and your promises. Let my inner life be so rooted in truth that fear finds no room to linger. Lord, I know the mind is where so many battles are won or lost. So today, I commit mine into your hands. Guard it like the precious gift it is. Strengthen it against deceit. Fill it with the wisdom to discern what is from you and what is not. And when I feel the weight of fierce lies pressing in again, let me remember that I have the authority to cast them down in your name and stand firm on the foundation that cannot be shaken. Father, after casting down the lies that fear has tried to plant in my mind, I find myself longing for something steady to take their place. It is not enough to simply remove the noise. I need the quiet strength of your peace to guard the space within me. I do not want an occasional moment of calm that fades with the next wave of worry. I want the kind of peace that becomes a shield around my heart, unshaken by the shifting winds of circumstance. I picture this peace not as something fragile, but as strong and steady, wrapping itself around me like armor. It does not crumble when the unexpected arrives. It does not vanish when the day grows long and heavy. Instead, it stands firm, protecting my thoughts from being pulled back into the chaos I have just laid at your feet. This peace is not born from the absence of problems, but from the deep assurance that you are here, that you are for me, and that nothing can slip past the boundaries of your care without first passing through your hands. Lord, I invite you now to cover me with that peace. Let it be the first thing that greets me when doubt knocks at my door. Let it be the steady voice that speaks louder than my fears. When my mind starts to replay conversations or rehearse what could go wrong, let your peace interrupt the spiral and call me back to the truth that you are in control. I think about the moments when I have tried to hold peace in my own strength. It always slips away so quickly, replaced by the weight of what I cannot fix. But when I look back, I can see that the times I truly felt unshaken were the moments when I stopped trying to be my own protector and simply leaned into you. In those moments, it was not that my situation instantly changed, it was that I was carried in the safety of your presence. Father, teach me to live in that place every day. Let your peace be the atmosphere I breathe in and out. Let it settle into the deepest parts of me, into the places where fear has tried to take root before. Let it spread into my words so that what I speak carries calm instead of anxiety. Let it flow into my actions so that I move through this day with quiet confidence instead of rushed desperation. There will be times when the world around me is anything but peaceful. The news may speak of uncertainty. People may act out of anger or fear, and circumstances may shift without warning. But in those moments, remind me that the peace you give is not fragile enough to be broken by what happens outside. It is anchored in who you are, unchanging, steadfast, faithful. I ask that this peace not only guard my own heart, but overflow to those around me. Let others feel steadier simply because they are near someone whose trust rests in you. Let my presence remind them that there is another way to live, not ruled by fear, but carried by the calm assurance of a God who holds everything together. Lord, I place my heart and mind under this covering now. I surrender the urge to defend myself with worry, to prepare for every worst-case scenario. Instead, I will let your peace be my shield, knowing that it is stronger than my attempts to control what lies ahead. And when the arrows of fear try to find a way in, I trust that they will fall harmlessly against the strength of the protection you provide. Lord, as I stand within the covering of your peace, I realize that true security in you is not about knowing exactly how every situation will turn out, but about being anchored in trust regardless of the outcome. My heart wants to believe that everything I face will resolve the way I hope, yet I know that faith is deeper than that. Faith grows strongest when it is willing to say, even if things do not unfold the way I long for, I will still trust you, This is not a resignation to defeat, but a declaration that my hope rests in who you are, not in how closely life matches my plans. There have been times when I have measured your goodness by whether you answered the way I wanted, and in doing so, I have missed the beauty of how you were working in ways I could not yet see. I do not want to live with a faith that is fragile, dependent on circumstances staying in my favor. I want a faith that remains steady whether the door opens or stays closed, whether the storm calms or continues to rage, whether the miracle comes in an instant or arrives in a form I did not expect. Father, teach me to love you for who you are, not just for what you do for me. Remind me that your character does not shift with my circumstances, that your promises do not expire, and that your presence is not conditional on my situation improving. When my prayers are met with silence, let me trust that the silence is not absence, but an opportunity to lean deeper into you. When the answer is different from what I asked for, let me remember that your vision is broader than mine, and that you see the threads I cannot see. I think about the fiery trials that others have faced in history, and in your word, the moments when deliverance came not by removing them from the fire, but by walking with them through it. That same truth applies to me. If the season ahead holds difficulty, I choose to believe you will be with me in it. If the path ahead requires endurance, I choose to believe that your strength will not run out before the journey is done. Lord, I confess that this kind of faith is not natural for me. It feels easier to hold tightly to specific outcomes and to believe that my security lies in seeing them fulfilled. But I ask you to loosen my grip on the need for control and to teach me the joy of resting in your wisdom. Let me experience the freedom that comes when I stop demanding that life unfold according to my script and instead surrender to the story you are writing. When fear whispers that trust without guarantees is foolish, let your spirit remind me that you alone are my guarantee. You have been faithful in the past. You are faithful now, and you will be faithful in the days to come. This is the unshakable truth that allows me to say, even if the answer looks different than what I imagined, you are still good, you are still worthy, and I am still safe in you. I do not want my praise to depend on receiving what I ask for. I want my praise to rise from the deeper place of knowing you. Let my worship be as full and sincere in the waiting as it would be in the receiving. Let my gratitude be as strong in the valley as it would be on the mountaintop. Let my faith be the kind that sings before the breakthrough, that stands tall even when the ground feels unsteady. So today I open my hands again. I offer you my hopes, my expectations, and my dreams, not as demands, but as gifts laid at your feet. I trust that what you return will be exactly what my soul needs, even if it is not what my mind imagined. And in the meantime, I choose to walk forward with the quiet strength of knowing that my faith is not built on outcomes, it is built on you. Father, having chosen to trust you, even when the outcome is unknown, I feel you calling me to take steps that may not make sense to those around me. It is one thing to stand still in faith. It is another to step out when the ground beneath me is not solid. I think of Peter stepping out of the boat, the waves still rising, the wind still fierce, and yet his eyes fixed on you. It was not the calm that gave him the courage, it was the sound of your voice. I long for that same courage, the kind that moves at your word even when the circumstances give me every reason to stay where it feels safe. There are places in my life now where you are asking me to move forward before I can see the full path. I hear the invitation, but I also feel the weight of hesitation. What if I fail? What if the water does not hold me? Yet, I know that the miracle was never in the water. It was in the one who made it firm beneath Peter's feet, for as long as he kept his eyes on you. I want to live like that, Lord, keeping my focus on you rather than on the uncertainty around me. Help me to recognize the difference between reckless risk and faith-filled obedience. I am not looking for the thrill of stepping into the unknown for my own glory. I am asking for the kind of boldness that comes only from knowing you have called me. If the step is from you, then even if the surface beneath me is unpredictable, I can be certain that I am exactly where I am meant to be. I admit that I have often waited for the waves to settle before moving, convincing myself that I am being wise, but there is a part of me that knows sometimes the waves will not calm until I step out. I ask you to silence the voices, whether from within or around me, that tell me it is too soon, too dangerous, or too uncertain. Replace them with the steady truth that if you are the one leading, the timing is already perfect. Lord, I also ask for the humility to cry out to you the moment I feel myself sinking. Peter's mistake was not that he faltered. It was when his focus shifted from you to the storm. If I find my attention drifting to the circumstances instead of the caller, bring me back quickly. Remind me that my safety is not in my ability to balance on the water, but in your unwavering grip. There are so many boats I cling to for comfort, plans I do not want to release, security I have built for myself, habits I am afraid to break. Show me which ones it is time to step out of. And when you reveal them, give me the strength to lift my foot from the place of comfort and set it down on what feels impossible, trusting that you will hold me. Walking on water is not just about defying the odds, it is about walking toward you, even when it means leaving behind the familiar. It is about valuing your presence more than the safety of what I have always known. It is about choosing movement over stagnation, faith over fear, obedience over hesitation. Father, let my steps today be guided by your voice. Let me rise when you call, move when you lead, and keep walking even if the storm does not let up. Let my confidence come not from the conditions, but from the certainty that you are the same God who sustains every step I take in faith. And if I should stumble, let me remember that your hand will always be there, pulling me up and setting me back on the path toward you. Lord, as I think about stepping out onto uncertain waters, I realize that sometimes the strength to keep moving comes from a place deeper than courage. It comes from worship. There is something powerful about lifting my voice to praise you in the middle of circumstances that should leave me silent. It is not that the storm grows smaller, but that my spirit rises above it. Worship shifts my focus from what is threatening me to the one who surrounds me with unfailing love. When I sing to you, fear loses its hold, and the atmosphere within me changes before anything around me does. I have seen how easy it is to let the noise of the battle become the soundtrack of my heart voices of worry, doubt, and discouragement filling the air. But you invite me to replace that noise with songs of truth, even when my heart feels heavy. When the words are more of a whisper than a shout, there is still a victory in choosing to praise. My worship is not a denial of reality. It is a declaration that reality does not get the final say. Father, help me to remember that praise is not reserved for the moments when life feels good. Teach me to lift my song in the valley as readily as I would on the mountaintop. Let my worship become a weapon that pushes back against the darkness, not by my strength, but by the power of your presence that fills the space when I exalt your name. When I lift you higher, my problems fall into their rightful place, not as insurmountable giants, but as small things under the feet of the Almighty. There are times when my voice may tremble, when I am not sure if the song in my heart will make it past my lips. In those moments, remind me that you are not measuring the perfection of the sound, but the sincerity of the offering. Even the quietest hymn, when it comes from a heart that trusts you, carries the weight of heaven's authority. And sometimes, it is the smallest sound of faith that causes the loudest chains to break. Lord, I ask that my praise today would be more than a moment. It would be a posture. Let it spill over into the way I speak, the way I respond, the way I carry myself through the challenges ahead. Let it be evident to those around me that I am walking in the light of something greater than my circumstances. Let my life itself become a song that honors you. I know that when the battle is fierce, praise does not always come easily. My mind may want to dwell on the threats. My heart may want to sink into worry, but this is where I choose differently. I choose to put on the garment of praise in place of the heaviness that tries to settle over me. I choose to let gratitude be my response to fear. I choose to remember that you are worthy of honor in every moment, not only when the outcome is in my favor. Father, as I lift my voice now, I picture the walls that stand against me beginning to crack, the shadows losing their power, and the enemy's grip weakening, not because I am strong, but because worship invites your strength into the fight. I do not sing to change your heart toward me. I sing to change my heart toward you, to realign my spirit with the truth that you are in control. You are faithful, and you are good. So even here, with battles still before me and questions still unanswered, I will sing. I will let my praise rise higher than the noise of fear, higher than the weight of uncertainty, higher than the voices that say, I will not make it through. And as the melody of trust fills the space around me, I will rest in the promise that you inhabit the praises of your people, and that where you dwell, no darkness can remain. Father, as my voice of praise fades into the stillness of this moment, I realize that worship has lifted me to a higher place, a place where I can see beyond the immediacy of the battle. It is as if you have drawn me up to a watchtower, giving me a vantage point I did not have before. From here, the things that once seemed overwhelming look different. I can see the bigger picture, the connections I missed when I was standing in the middle of the chaos. And from this higher view, my heart begins to rest, because I remember that you have always seen what I could not. Standing in this place, I feel the air shift, The noise of fear is quieter, replaced by a steady calm that tells me I do not have to react to every shadow or sound. You are showing me that perspective changes everything. What looked like a wall from the ground might simply be a small barrier from here. What felt like the end of the road could actually be a bend in the path. And even the obstacles that remain tall are not beyond the reach of your hand. Lord, I know that I can only gain this clarity when I am willing to step back from the rush of my own thoughts and climb higher in trust. The watchtower is not a place of retreat in fear, it is a place of alignment. From here, I can watch for your movement, listen for your instruction, and prepare my heart to act when you say it is time. It is here that I remember my role is not to control the unfolding of events, but to stay alert to the ways you are already at work. Help me, Lord, to live from this place even when I am back in the middle of the day's demands. Give me eyes that can see beyond the moment, that can hold both the reality of what is in front of me and the truth of what you have promised. Keep me from being consumed by the urgency of what is pressing so that I can remain attentive to the eternal work you are doing in and through me. There is a peace that comes from knowing that nothing surprises you. From this watchtower view, I can see the clouds gathering, but I also see the sunlight breaking through at the horizon. I can see the shadows stretching, but I also know they will shorten when the light rises fully. This perspective does not erase the challenges, but it strips them of the power to dictate my hope. Father, I ask you to train my spirit to climb to this place quickly when I feel overwhelmed. Let my first response to trouble be to seek your perspective instead of leaning on my limited understanding. Remind me that from where you stand, nothing is hidden, nothing is out of place, and nothing is without purpose. You know the outcome before the first step is taken, and you see the threads that will weave together into something good. Let this higher vision influence the way I speak today. When others around me can only see the difficulty, let me offer words that carry the hope of what is possible. When they feel trapped in the narrow view of their circumstances, let my faith point them to a broader horizon. Let me become a voice that encourages them to look up, to see beyond, to trust that there is more to the story than the chapter they are living right now. Lord, thank you for reminding me that faith is not blind, it simply sees from a different height. And from this height, my heart feels lighter. I am not weighed down by the urgent need to solve every problem in my own strength. I can rest in the truth that you are the master of the field, the keeper of the watch, and that no matter what approaches from the distance, you will guide me in exactly how to respond. So I will stay here, in this place of clear sight, holding fast to the vision you have given me, and as I step down into the day, I will carry the perspective of the watchtower with me, letting it shape the way I walk, the way I speak, and the way I believe. Father, from the high place where you have given me clarity, I can see that some of the challenges ahead are not small hills, but towering giants. They stand in the distance, their size casting long shadows over the ground I must walk. From the ground, they might look undefeatable, but from this perspective, I remember that you have a way of turning what threatens to consume me into something that nourishes my faith. You take the very giants that once filled me with dread and make them into bread for my spirit, sustenance that strengthens me for the journey. I confess that my first instinct is not always to see them this way. Sometimes my heart still skips a beat when I think about what I will have to face. The uncertainty, the difficulty, the possibility of failure, all these thoughts try to make me see the giants as reasons to retreat. But Lord, you are teaching me to look again, to see them through the lens of your promise instead of my fear. What once looked like an end can become the very thing that carries me into the next season of growth. I think about how the spies once saw the land you had promised and returned with two very different reports. Some saw giants too strong to defeat, but Joshua and Caleb saw the same giants and declared that they were as bread for the people because your favor was with them. I want to carry that same spirit in my heart. Let me be the one who looks at the size of the opposition and sees opportunity, who hears the roar of the enemy and responds with confidence in the one who goes before me. Lord, help me to remember that the size of the giant does not determine the outcome. The presence of the Almighty does. No matter how fortified the walls or how fierce the opposition, they cannot stand against the one who commands the heavens and the earth. Let me walk toward these challenges not with arrogance, but with the quiet assurance that I am not walking alone. I ask you to open my eyes to the hidden provision that comes through facing these battles. Giants are not only obstacles, they are also opportunities to see your power in new ways. They push me beyond the limits of my comfort and into the depths of trust where miracles take place. They strip away self-reliance and make room for your strength to be revealed. Father, when I stand before what seems unmovable, let my words reflect faith, not fear. Teach me to declare the truth of your promises over the noise of intimidation. Let my heart be steady, not because I underestimate the challenge, but because I have already measured it against the greatness of my God. I know there will be days when the giants loom so large that their shadow covers everything in sight. On those days, remind me to lift my eyes higher, to look beyond them to the light of your presence that no shadow can block. Remind me that giants fall not because I have the perfect strategy, but because I trust the one who never loses a battle. And when the victory comes, and I believe it will, let me not forget the nourishment it brings. Let me feed on the testimony of what you have done, so that when the next giant appears, my faith will not shrink back. Let me carry the memory of each conquered fear, each silenced lie, and each impossible thing made possible, so that my heart grows stronger with every step. So, Lord, I will not run from the giants in my path. I will face them, not in my own strength, but in yours. I will trust that what once seemed too great to overcome will become the very bread that sustains me. And as I move forward, I will hold to the truth that in your hands, even the greatest threats can become the greatest gifts. Lord, as I think about the giants that you have promised to turn into bread for my spirit, I realize that sometimes the hardest part is not the confrontation, it is the waiting before the victory comes. There are moments when the challenge stands in front of me, yet nothing seems to move, and I am left in the tension of an unfinished story. My heart wants to see resolution quickly, but you remind me that there is strength to be found in the season of waiting. In these in-between spaces, faith is not only tested, it is refined. Father, help me to anchor my heart during these stretches of time when the answers are not immediate and the path ahead feels unclear. Waiting can feel like standing in the middle of a silent field, looking for signs of life that are not yet visible. But you are teaching me that growth often happens underground, where roots spread deep before the first green shoots appear. Let me trust that the unseen work you are doing is no less real than what I can see. I know my mind can wander in the waiting, drifting toward questions that have no easy answers. Why is it taking so long? What if nothing changes? These thoughts can unsettle me if I let them. So I place them before you now, asking that your peace would steady me like a deep anchor that holds firm even when the winds shift. Keep me from being tossed by every new wave of doubt, and help me remain fixed on the truth that your timing is perfect. Lord, I ask you to give me patience that is not passive but purposeful. I do not want to simply endure these days. I want to use them to draw closer to you. Teach me to fill the waiting with prayer, with thanksgiving, and with acts of faith that keep my heart awake and expectant. Let me remember that stillness is not the same as stagnation. Sometimes it is the very posture that allows me to hear your voice more clearly. When I am tempted to measure your faithfulness by how quickly my situation changes, remind me that your love is constant, whether I am in motion or standing still. Your hand is just as present in the pause as it is in the breakthrough. You do not withhold answers out of neglect, but out of wisdom, shaping me to carry what you are preparing to give. I think of those who waited before me, Abraham counting the years before a promise fulfilled, Joseph in the darkness of a prison before stepping into his calling, David tending sheep long before wearing a crown. None of their waiting was wasted, and neither is mine. You are building something in them during those seasons, something that could not be rushed without losing its strength. Build that same endurance in me, Lord. Let this waiting deepen my trust in ways that answered prayers alone never could. Let it train my eyes to see small signs of your movement and my ears to hear your whispers in the quiet. Let it teach me to value the journey with you more than the destination I have in mind. And when impatience rises, let gratitude be the weight that steadies my soul, remembering all that you have already done for me. Father, I place my hope in you, not in the speed of the outcome. I choose to believe that even in this moment, when so much feels incomplete, you are already weaving together the details of a story I will one day look back on with awe. Keep me anchored here, secure in the knowledge that I am held, and that every moment of waiting is bringing me closer to the fullness of what you have promised. Father, in the stillness of waiting, I have come to realize that the quiet is not empty. It is filled with the subtle movements of your hand and the soft tones of your voice. Sometimes, I have looked for you in the loud and the dramatic, expecting a sign that shakes the ground beneath me, but more often, you choose to speak in a way that draws me closer, like a whisper carried on the wind. And in that gentle sound, I hear not just direction, but the reminder that you are near. Lord, help me to recognize those moments when your voice comes softly, almost hidden beneath the noise of the day. I do not want to miss the message, because I am waiting for something grander. Let me be like Elijah, who found that you were not in the windstorm, not in the earthquake, not in the fire, but in the gentle whisper that followed. That kind of voice cannot be heard from a distance. It calls me to lean in, to quiet my spirit, to set aside the distractions that crowd my mind. There are so many sounds competing for my attention: opinions, fears, expectations, and my own restless thoughts. I ask you to tune my ears to the frequency of heaven, so that even the faintest word from you stands out clearly against the background noise. Teach me to pause before I react, to listen before I speak, to wait for your confirmation before I take the next step. I know that your whisper is not weak. It carries the authority of the one who spoke creation into existence. But you choose its gentleness to invite relationship rather than demand it. You do not shout over my distractions. You wait for me to still them. That truth humbles me, because it means you value my attention as something I must willingly offer. Father, I want to live in such a way that my heart stays close enough to hear you without straining. Let my mornings begin with this closeness, my days be sustained by it, and my nights end in the same awareness. I do not want to treat your whisper as something occasional, but as the constant thread that runs through every part of my life. When confusion clouds my judgment, let your whisper bring clarity. When fear starts to rise, let it speak peace into my spirit. When I feel overlooked or forgotten, let it remind me that I am seen, known, and loved beyond measure. Your voice has a way of cutting through the lies I tell myself and restoring the truth that I belong to you. Lord, I also ask that you give me discernment to distinguish between your whisper and the counterfeit voices that try to imitate it. Not every thought that enters my mind is from you, and I need the wisdom of your Spirit to separate what is pure from what is deceptive. Anchor me in your word so that I can recognize the sound of truth when I hear it. And as I learn to listen more closely, let obedience follow without hesitation. There is no point in hearing if I do not respond. Whether you guide me towards something small or something that changes the course of my life, let my answer be immediate and wholehearted. So here in the quiet, with the world still moving around me, I lean in toward the whisper. I breathe it in like the wind that brushes across my face, gentle yet undeniable. I choose to let it lead me today, not rushing ahead, not lagging behind, but keeping pace with the one whose voice brings life every time it speaks. Father, as I lean in to hear the gentle tones of your whisper, I realize how often that voice carries more than instruction, it carries comfort. In the quiet, you do not just guide me forward. You restore something within me that weariness and disappointment have drained. There is a kind of joy that comes from you alone, a joy not built on fleeting moments or temporary wins, but on the deep, unshakable reality of your presence. This joy is like oil poured over my spirit, seeping into the dry and brittle places, making them soft and alive again. Lord, I confess there have been seasons when I have allowed heaviness to settle over me like an uninvited guest. Sometimes it has crept in slowly, through daily frustrations or the constant press of responsibility. Other times, it has come suddenly, in the form of loss, bad news, or unexpected change. In both cases, I have found myself carrying burdens I was never meant to hold alone, and the weight has dulled my sense of hope. But you, in your kindness, offer something different. You do not merely remove the weight. You replace it with joy that has the power to lift my heart above the heaviness. This joy is not shallow happiness. It does not deny the reality of pain, nor does it ask me to pretend that everything is fine. Instead, it acknowledges the difficulty and then fills the space with a greater truth that you are still good, still faithful, still working for my good even here. It is a joy that can laugh through tears, that can dance with the memory of scars, that can sing songs of gratitude while still waiting for the full answer to prayer. Father, I ask you to pour this oil of joy over me now. Let it run into every place where I have grown tired of the fight, where my heart has felt too heavy to lift in praise. Let it soften the edges of my disappointments, so that they no longer cut into my trust in you. Let it restore the lightness in my step and the warmth in my words, so that even in difficult times, my life reflects the hope that only you can give. I also pray that this joy would not be limited to me. Let it overflow so that those who encounter me can sense something different, even if they cannot name it. Let my presence become a reminder to others that joy is not found in perfect circumstances, but in the nearness of God. Let the oil that heals me become a balm for others who are worn down by their own struggles. Lord, teach me to protect this joy, not by guarding it in fear, but by staying close to you, the source from which it flows. Remind me to choose gratitude daily, to look for the small gifts that could easily be overlooked, to name and celebrate the ways you are at work even in the ordinary. Show me how to speak life over my own heart when the enemy tries to steal what you have given. When I wake each morning, let joy be the first thing that greets me, not because every problem has vanished, but because I know I will not face a single one of them alone. When I lay my head down at night, let joy be the last thing that lingers, not because the day was free of challenges, but because I can see your hand woven through every moment. So here I am, Father, with hands open to receive. I choose to release the heaviness I have carried and to let you replace it with the oil of joy that never runs dry. I choose to let that joy rise within me like a song, steady and strong, until it becomes the rhythm by which I walk through this day. Father, as the oil of joy begins to refresh my spirit, I feel you reminding me that this joy is not meant to be fragile. It is meant to be strengthened by the memory of what you have already brought me through. I think of David, still a young shepherd, remembering the lion and the bear that came against his flock. Those battles, won in the quiet fields far from the eyes of men, became the proof that gave him courage to face Goliath. In the same way, my own history with you is filled with victories that might seem small to others, but they are the very moments that have shaped my faith. Lord, I want to treasure those memories, not as trophies of my own strength, but as reminders of your constant hand in my life. There were days when the lions in my path were fierce, unexpected crises. Sudden losses, fears that threatened to devour my peace. There were nights when the bears of worry prowled close, whispering that I would not survive what was coming. Yet in each of those moments, you gave me what I needed. Sometimes it was courage I did not know I had. Sometimes it was a way out I could not have planned. Sometimes it was simply the strength to stand until the danger passed. These memories are not relics of the past, they are living testimonies that speak into my present battles. When I am tempted to think that what I face now is too much, I only have to remember how you showed up before. I remember the peace that came in the middle of chaos, the unexpected provision when resources ran out, the words of encouragement that arrived at exactly the right time. None of it was coincidence. All of it was evidence of a God who fights for me. Father, help me to keep these victories close to my heart. Let them be like stones in my hand, ready to be used against the giants of today. Remind me that the same God who gave me strength in past struggles has not changed. You are no less powerful, no less faithful, no less attentive now than you were then. If you were with me in the hidden battles, you will be with me in the ones that everyone can see. I also ask that you help me to recognize the preparation hidden in each challenge. The lion and the bear were not random. They were training for the day David would stand before Goliath. In the same way, the struggles I have endured have not been wasted. They have taught me resilience, sharpened my discernment, and deepened my dependence on you. They have shown me that my confidence is not in the absence of danger, but in the presence of my deliverer. Lord, let these past victories silence the voice of fear when it tries to predict defeat. Let them fuel my prayers with faith instead of desperation. Let them give me the courage to step forward, even when I cannot yet see the outcome, because I know the one who holds it. And when the next battle comes, I will not be starting from nothing. I will be standing on the solid ground of a history with you that cannot be erased. So today, I choose to remember. I choose to speak of the lions and the bears you have already delivered me from. I choose to let those memories remind me that I am not walking into unknown territory alone. I choose to believe that every challenge I face now is another opportunity to see your power displayed, another chapter in the story you are writing through my life. Father, as I hold on to the memories of the battles you have already brought me through, I also feel you drawing my heart toward the places of stillness you have led me into. After the strain of the fight, after the dust settles from the clash, there is often this quiet space, a pause that feels like the breath you exhale over my weary soul. It is in those moments, when the noise of the struggle fades, that I sense you leading me beside still waters, just as the shepherd leads the sheep to a place of rest and refreshment. Lord, I do not want to rush past these moments. Too often, my mind is still running, rehearsing the details of what happened or preparing for what is ahead. But you remind me that peace is not simply the absence of conflict. It is the gift of your presence washing over me like a calm river. In these still waters, my soul finds restoration. My anxious thoughts settle, My heartbeat slows, and I remember that I am safe in you. These places of quiet are not always physical. Sometimes they come in the middle of a busy street, when I pause long enough to feel the warmth of the sun on my face. Sometimes they come while I am surrounded by people, yet my heart is suddenly aware that you are near, and everything else fades into the background. Sometimes they come in the early morning, before the world stirs awake, when I can hear nothing but the soft hum of life and the whisper of your spirit. God, I want to live from that place, not just visit it occasionally. I want to carry the still waters within me, letting them flow through my words, my actions, and my reactions, even when storms rise around me. I want to be anchored in the peace you give, a peace the world cannot manufacture or take away. Let this peace guard my mind when fear tries to enter. Let it guard my heart when bitterness tries to grow. Let it be the calm center from which I move through my day. I know that to remain in this peace, I must keep my eyes on you. The waters become stirred and troubled when I begin to focus on the winds and waves. But when I fix my gaze on the one who commands the seas, I remember that no storm has authority over my soul unless I give it. Lord, teach me to return quickly to you when my peace is disturbed. Remind me that it is not my circumstances that determine the condition of my spirit, but my connection to the source of life. Father, as I drink deeply from these still waters, let them cleanse away the residue of the battles I have fought. Let them wash over the scars, softening the places that have grown hard, and bringing new life to what was once weary. Let them fill me to overflowing, so that the peace I receive from you becomes a refuge for others. Let my presence be a gentle stream where tired hearts can rest, not because of anything I am, but because your peace flows through me. And in this quiet, I realize that stillness is not weakness, it is strength. It is the strength that comes from knowing I do not have to strive for what you have already promised. It is the confidence of a heart at rest in the certainty of your care. It is the awareness that you are both my shepherd in the fight and my shepherd in the calm, leading me faithfully through every season. So I choose to linger here, to breathe deeply, to let the still waters speak louder than the voices of fear or doubt. I choose to carry this peace into the rest of the day, knowing that wherever I go, the river of your presence flows with me. Father, as I rise from the still waters you have given my soul, I feel your steadying hand guiding me onto firm ground. The calm you have poured into me is not meant to keep me motionless, but to strengthen my steps for the path ahead. Peace, when it is rooted in you, becomes the foundation I can walk on without fear of stumbling. And even when the earth beneath me feels uncertain, I am reminded that your word is the unshakable ground where my feet can rest secure. Lord, there are times when the path forward is uneven and filled with shadows. The terrain of life is not always smooth or predictable. And sometimes I am tempted to slow my pace or turn back out of fear of what might lie ahead. But your presence changes how I walk. You do not promise that the road will be without stones or steep climbs, but you assure me that I will never take a step without you beside me. In that promise, I find the courage to press forward. There is a stability in you, God, that no season can erode. When the winds howl and the rain falls, When voices rise against me or the ground quakes beneath my feet, I remember that you are my rock. No scheme, no trial, no unexpected blow can uproot me from the place you have planted me. My roots run deep into the soil of your faithfulness, drawing life and strength that cannot be stolen. The world may shift, but your truth does not. Father, teach me to trust the ground you lead me to stand on. Sometimes it looks different from what I expected. Sometimes it feels narrow, and I must walk with careful steps. Other times it is wide and open, a place where I can run without restraint. Whether I move slowly or quickly, let my confidence remain in the fact that you have placed me exactly where I need to be. Even if my eyes cannot see the entire path, I know that each step is secured by your wisdom. There are moments when my heart longs for signs, for visible proof that I am moving in the right direction. Yet, you remind me that faith often requires walking when the path is dim, trusting the ground beneath me, because it is held together by your hand. Every time I take a step in obedience, even when I cannot see far ahead, I am declaring that my trust is in you, not in my own understanding. Lord, as I walk this day, let my steps be steady and intentional. Do not allow fear to push me into rushing ahead of your timing or hesitation to keep me frozen in place. Let each movement be guided by your Spirit, whether it is a leap of faith or a patient wait. The ground you have prepared for me is not just a place to stand, it is a place to grow, to serve, and to reflect the stability of your kingdom in a world that trembles. Help me to remember, God, that even when I face resistance, the firmness beneath my feet is proof that I am not standing alone. Your strength becomes my footing, your promise is my balance, and your love my reason to keep moving. I do not have to carry the weight of uncertainty, because you have already walked this road ahead of me. And so, I step forward without the dread of falling, because my foundation is not built on shifting sand, but on the eternal truth of who you are. Even if everything else changes, you remain, and because you remain, I am secure. Father, as I move from the place of steady ground you have set beneath my feet, I sense the quiet pull toward paths I have never walked before. It is not the familiar road I have traveled in comfort, but a way that seems to win through unseen valleys and rise into heights I cannot yet imagine. My heart feels the mixture of anticipation and uncertainty, yet my trust rests in the truth that if you are leading, then the unknown is not a place of danger, but a place of discovery. Lord, I know that the steps ahead may not always reveal what lies just beyond them. The horizon can appear hazy, the air thick with questions I cannot yet answer. But you remind me that my call is not to see the end from the beginning, it is to follow your voice in the present moment. Every breath, every choice, every pause becomes an opportunity to listen, to lean in closer, and to move in the direction you are guiding. God, it is in these moments of uncharted territory that I feel your closeness most deeply. When I cannot rely on my own sense of direction, I must depend entirely on yours. My eyes search for the signs you place along the way, the small confirmations, the gentle nudges, the quiet reassurance that I am not wandering aimlessly, but walking with purpose. You have a way of weaving clarity into the very steps that feel the most uncertain. I think of how often I have longed for a map, something to lay out every turn and every mile before I even begin. Yet you, in your wisdom, choose instead to walk beside me, offering not the full picture, but enough light for the step I am on. This requires me to trust not only in the destination, but in your presence as I journey. It is a slower trust, a deeper one, that does not demand to see the whole road, but simply to know you are there. Father, in this place between where I have been and where I am going, I ask for courage that is quiet yet unyielding. Let it be the kind of courage that does not need loud declarations, but shows itself in steady obedience. I do not want to rush forward in fear of missing something, nor linger too long in hesitation because I am afraid of change. Help me walk with the rhythm of your will, neither behind nor ahead, but in step with you. There is beauty, I am learning, in not knowing every answer. It allows my heart to remain open, my spirit attentive, and my faith alive. If the road twists unexpectedly, I know it is not to confuse me, but to shape me. If the way feels longer than I had hoped, it is not to weary me, but to prepare me. You see what I cannot, the timing, the connections, the unfolding of things that must happen in a precise order for your purpose to be fulfilled. Lord, when the path feels lonely, remind me that I am never truly alone. Even when the scenery is unfamiliar and the silence around me seems heavy, your voice remains within reach. You speak in ways my soul can hear, through peace that settles in my chest, through reminders hidden in the day, through whispers that tell me I am exactly where I need to be. God, I want my steps today to be marked not by fear of the unknown, but by the boldness of faith. I want to treat the unfamiliar not as a threat, but as an invitation to learn, to grow, to see your hand in places I have never looked before. Let my heart be soft enough to follow and strong enough to endure. And if the road ahead takes me far from what I thought I wanted, let me remember that your plan is better, wiser, and far more beautiful than anything I could have designed. So I will walk forward, one step at a time, not with the demand to see the whole path, but with the quiet joy of knowing that wherever it leads, I will find you there. Father, as I continue along this path you have set before me, my heart recalls the steady assurance from the moments before that even in the unknown, your presence has never wavered. It is this awareness that carries me into the next stretch of the journey. I do not walk because the way feels easy or because I can clearly see the outcome, but because you have spoken, and your word compels me to move forward. My soul leans into the truth that every step is not wasted. Every pause has purpose, and every challenge is an essential part of the process you have ordained. Lord, there is a quiet mystery in the way you weave together the pieces of my life. Sometimes I see glimpses of the pattern you are forming, and other times it remains hidden, like a tapestry turned to its unfinished side. The loose threads and knots seem to make no sense from here, yet I trust that on the other side, a masterpiece is emerging. You are not rushed, nor are you careless. Your timing is deliberate, and your work is perfect, even when I cannot yet grasp the beauty of it. God, I confess there are moments when the waiting feels long and the work you are doing inside me feels slow. In those times, I am tempted to question if anything is truly happening at all. But then you remind me that seeds take root in darkness before they ever push through the soil into light. There is growth I cannot see, preparation taking place beneath the surface, and foundations being strengthened for the weight of what is to come. This knowledge steadies me when my impatience threatens to take the lead. Teach me to see the process not as a delay, but as a divine gift. If you are refining me, it is because you are making me ready. If you are removing things from my life, it is because they could not bear the weight of where you are taking me. If you are allowing me to face certain obstacles, it is because they are shaping the endurance I will need later. I want to honor this process by trusting it, even when I do not fully understand it. Father, there is something sacred about walking with you without rushing ahead. The world moves quickly, demanding instant results and immediate clarity. But you often invite me into the slower rhythm of faith. In that rhythm, I learn patience. I learn humility. I learn to find joy not only in reaching the destination, but in noticing the small, holy moments along the way, the conversations that encourage me, the unexpected opportunities that open, the quiet answers to prayers I forgot I had prayed. When the process feels heavy, remind me that I am not carrying it alone. You bear the greater weight. You lift the burdens that threaten to drain my strength. You place your hand upon my shoulder and remind me that what you began, you will finish. There is no risk of abandonment in your plan. No chance that you will set me on this journey only to leave me midway. You are the author and the finisher, and every chapter of my life is being written with intention. Lord, help me not to compare my path with the paths of others. It is easy to look around and see people reaching milestones I have yet to approach, but comparison only steals the gratitude from where I am. You have called me to walk my own journey with you, not to measure it against anyone else's timeline. Let me find peace in knowing that my process is unique, because my purpose is unique. God, I want to embrace today fully, without wishing it away for the sake of tomorrow. If there are lessons in this season, let me receive them deeply. If there are people I am meant to meet here, let me notice them. If there is work to be done in my character, let me welcome it instead of resisting it. I do not want to look back one day and realize I hurried through the very moments that were meant to prepare me for my calling. So I place my trust in the one who sees the beginning and the end. You are not just guiding me through the process. You are the process. Every step forward, every moment of stillness, every breath I take in faith is an act of worship that declares, I believe you know what you are doing. And with that trust, I can walk without fear, knowing that nothing in your hands is ever wasted. Father, as I continue to journey through the path you have prepared, my heart remains anchored in the trust we spoke of before. That trust now calls me to take each step with the strength you provide, not with the fleeting energy of my own willpower. I know that my own strength has limits. It falters when life becomes overwhelming. It wanes when trials stretch longer than I expect. But the strength that comes from you is enduring. It flows from a source that never runs dry, carrying me through moments that seem too heavy for me to bear. Lord, I have learned that your strength is not always a sudden burst of power, but often a steady presence that undergirds me in the smallest details of my day. It is there in the patience I did not think I could muster, in the courage to speak when silence would have been easier, and in the perseverance to keep going when quitting would have been more comfortable. Your strength does not simply carry me, it transforms me, shaping my character so that I may stand firm in both calm and storm. God, help me to lean into that strength more intentionally. I do not want to treat it as a reserve for emergencies only. I want it to be the daily current that flows through every decision, every conversation, and every task set before me. When I rise in the morning, let my first thought be a reaching toward you, drawing from your power before I face the demands of the day. In that posture, I am reminded that nothing ahead of me is stronger than the one who goes with me. There are moments when the challenges feel relentless, when responsibilities pile high, when unexpected troubles arrive, when fears whisper their discouragement into my heart. In those moments, I choose to remember that my strength is not my own. You, Lord, are my refuge and my fortress, the place where I can run without fear of rejection or condemnation. You do not shame me for my weakness. You meet me in it, clothing me in the resilience I could never create by myself. Father, let this strength not only sustain me, but also enable me to lift others. There are people around me carrying burdens heavier than they can bear, and you have given me opportunities to help shoulder their load. When I offer them encouragement, when I listen without judgment, when I stand beside them in their pain, let it be your strength flowing through me. Make me a vessel of endurance for the weary, a living reminder that no one has to walk alone. I also ask that you guard my heart from the pride that can creep in when strength begins to show. The moment I think I am standing on my own is the moment I risk falling. Keep me aware that every ounce of perseverance, every victory over temptation, every moment of clarity in chaos comes from you. Without you, my resolve is fragile, my will is inconsistent, and my vision is clouded. But with you, I can face the unknown without shrinking back. Lord, I have seen how your strength often arrives disguised as small mercies, a kind word at the right time, an unexpected provision, a sudden moment of rest in a busy day. These moments are not accidents. They are your deliberate ways of reminding me that you are actively involved in my life. Teach me to notice them and to respond with gratitude, for they are evidence that you are walking with me, even in the unseen details. God, let your strength not only help me endure, but also embolden me to pursue the purposes you have placed in my heart. I do not want to live a life marked only by survival. I want to step into the fullness of what you have designed for me. Give me the courage to take risks in faith, to speak truth with love, to serve even when it costs me something, and to keep showing up when the work feels unseen. As I move forward, I know there will be days when my energy feels depleted and my motivation fades. In those moments, I will return to this truth. I am not sustained by my own resources, but by the endless supply of your grace and power. Just as the sun rises each morning without fail, so too does your strength meet me anew, ready to carry me through whatever lies ahead. And in that assurance, I can walk forward with steady steps, knowing that you will never let me fall. Father, as I walk forward in the strength you so generously provide, I find myself longing to be equally grounded in the peace that comes only from you. Strength allows me to move, to act, to persevere. But peace allows me to do so without being consumed by fear or restlessness. I see now how both must work together. Your strength keeps me standing, and your peace keeps my heart steady while I stand. Without that inner calm, I can accomplish many tasks yet still feel unsettled inside. But with it, even the most uncertain paths can be walked with quiet confidence. Lord, this peace is unlike anything the world can give. It is not the absence of conflict or challenge, but the unshakable assurance that you are present in all things. It is the stillness that remains even when storms rage, the calm that holds me when questions go unanswered, and the quiet trust that grows in the soil of surrender. When I let go of my need to control every outcome, I make room for this peace to enter and fill the spaces that anxiety once claimed. God, teach me to recognize when I am drifting from that peace. So often, I find myself pulled into the noise of the world news that stirs fear, voices that spread doubt, circumstances that tempt me to worry. In those moments, help me to pause and remember who holds my future. Draw my attention back to you like a gentle hand guiding me home. Let the rhythm of your presence steady my breathing and slow my racing thoughts until my heart rests once again in your care. I ask that this peace be more than just a private comfort. Let it flow outward so that others may sense it even without words. When someone is weighed down by uncertainty, may the way I carry myself become an invitation for them to look toward you. Make me a living example of what it means to walk through trials without being overtaken by fear, not because I am naturally calm, but because I am anchored in you. Father, I know that peace grows deeper when I trust you with the things I cannot control. It is tempting to hold on tightly, to believe that if I just try harder, I can fix everything on my own. But you have shown me that surrender is not weakness. It is the doorway to rest. When I lay my concerns before you and refuse to take them back, I discover that peace is not something I chase. It is something that arrives when I release my grip. There are days when this is easier said than done. My mind wants to return to old habits, replaying worries and rehearsing worst-case scenarios. In those moments, Lord, remind me to replace those thoughts with the truth of your promises. Remind me that nothing can separate me from your love, that you work all things together for good, and that you are faithful to complete what you have begun. These reminders are the anchors that keep my peace from drifting away in the tides of uncertainty. God, let this peace influence every part of my daily life. Let it shape the way I speak, so my words carry gentleness instead of sharpness. Let it guide the way I listen, so I can truly hear others without rushing to judgment. Let it determine the pace of my days, so I am not driven by panic or impatience, but by the quiet assurance that I am moving in step with you. Even in moments of urgency, help me to act without losing that inner calm, knowing that your timing is always perfect. I pray also for the discipline to protect this peace. It is a gift, but it must be tended like a garden. Show me how to guard my heart against influences that eroded bitterness, anger, comparison, and fear. Replace those things with gratitude, kindness, and trust. Give me the courage to step away from environments or conversations that feed unrest, and to choose instead the places where my spirit can remain still before you. Lord, may this peace not only carry me through the quiet seasons, but also sustain me in the middle of noise and change. Life will not always slow down to give me room to breathe, but you can give me the ability to breathe deeply, no matter what surrounds me. And as I walk forward with both your strength and your peace, I know that whatever lies ahead will be met with a heart that is steady, a mind that is clear, and a spirit that is unafraid, because it is held in your hands. Father, as your peace continues to settle deep within me, I feel a greater openness to notice the quiet ways you lead me. When my heart is calm, it is easier to discern the subtle nudges and gentle whispers that direct my steps. I begin to see how you are always guiding, even in moments when I am unsure of my next move. You never push me with force, but you invite me to walk in a way that keeps me aligned with what is true, good, and life-giving. This guidance feels like the steady light of morning that gradually reveals the path ahead, making each step clearer as I move forward. Lord, there are times when the path is lit only a few feet ahead, and everything beyond remains hidden. In those moments, I have to resist the urge to rush ahead into places I am not yet ready to go. Instead, I am learning to trust the light you give for this moment, knowing it is enough. You remind me that I do not have to see the entire road to take the next faithful step, and as I move, the light follows, showing me only what I need to see, when I need to see it. This is how you keep me dependent on you rather than on my own plans. God, I thank you for the ways you speak through more than just words. Sometimes your guidance comes through an unexpected conversation that affirms a choice I am about to make. Other times it appears in the stillness of early morning, when I feel a deep sense of assurance about the direction I am headed. And then there are moments when you close a door I thought I wanted to walk through, only to protect me from something I could not yet see. In every instance, your hand is steady, shaping my path with wisdom far beyond my understanding. I have learned that to hear your direction clearly, I must also quiet the noise around me. There are so many competing voices, opinions, expectations, distractions that try to dictate the choices I should make. But when I make space to listen to you first, the confusion fades and a quiet clarity emerges. It is not always the easiest path, but it is the one that leaves me at peace. It is the one that carries the weight of truth. And even when following you requires sacrifice, I have never regretted saying yes to your leading. Father, help me to carry this attentiveness into the ordinary moments of my day. Let me be as open to your direction while I am in the middle of familiar routines as I am in moments of big decisions. You may choose to guide me in how I respond to someone's words, in when to speak and when to remain silent, in which opportunities to embrace and which to release. Let me see each choice, small or great, as an opportunity to align my heart with yours. I ask also that you give me the courage to follow when your leading takes me into unfamiliar places. It is easy to obey when the road is smooth, but when the terrain becomes steep or uncertain, fear can whisper that I am heading in the wrong direction. In those moments, remind me that obedience is not measured by ease, but by trust. You do not always lead me where it is comfortable, but you always lead me where I will grow, where I will become more like the person you created me to be. Lord, I know that my own desires can sometimes disguise themselves as your will. Teach me to test my impulses against the truth of your character. If a decision stirs restlessness or pulls me away from peace, help me to pause and wait for your clarity. If a choice aligns with your truth and is confirmed through prayer and wise counsel, help me to walk forward without hesitation. Keep my spirit sensitive enough to stop when you say stop and to move when you say move. God, I also pray for the humility to accept when your guidance corrects my course. It is not always easy to admit I have taken a wrong turn, but your love is never diminished by my mistakes. Instead, you meet me where I am and gently turn me back toward the way I should go. Let me be quick to surrender my own stubbornness, so that I do not wander further than necessary. I would rather take 2 steps back with you than keep moving forward without you. And Father, as I walk under the light you provide, let my life reflect that same light to others. There are many people searching for direction, unsure of where to turn next. Let the way I live, the choices I make, and the peace I carry become a quiet testimony that you can be trusted to lead anyone who seeks you. May my steps leave a trail of hope that points back to the one who guides me with unwavering love. Father, as I reach this quiet moment, I feel the gentle thread of every prayer woven together into something deeper than words. From the first light of the morning to this final reflection, you have been here steady, patient, and unchanging. My heart recognizes how much you have carried me through, how many unseen ways you have poured peace into my spirit, and how each breath today has been a reminder that I am never left to walk alone. The journey we have taken together in these moments has not been about rushing to a conclusion, but about learning to dwell in your presence without the need to hurry away. Lord, you have shown me that prayer is not simply a request for answers, but an opening of the heart to be shaped. I see now that faith grows not only in grand victories, but in the quiet spaces where I choose to trust you, even when the outcome is still unfolding. You have taught me to find beauty in the in-between, to treasure the steady rhythm of your guidance, and to rest in the knowledge that you hold both the path ahead and the ground beneath my feet. This trust does not erase the challenges I face, but it steadies me in the middle of them. God, as I think about the steps that still lie ahead, I find myself less focused on needing all the details and more committed to keeping my eyes on you. The uncertainties no longer feel as heavy, because I know I am anchored in something greater than my circumstances. There is a quiet strength in knowing that each morning I can return to this place of stillness and meet you again. No matter what changes around me, this meeting place will remain a sacred rhythm, a well that never runs dry. I realize now that my faith is not measured by how much I can control, but by how willing I am to release that control into your hands. When fear tries to creep in, I can remember the countless ways you have been faithful before. when doubt begins to rise. I can recall the peace you have poured into my heart in moments when I thought it was impossible to stand. These reminders are like lanterns along the way, keeping me from losing my sense of direction when the path feels dim. Father, I want my life to be a reflection of this journey one, where trust is not just spoken but lived. I want my decisions, my words, and my actions to carry the fragrance of peace and the quiet strength that comes from knowing you are near. Even when storms come, may others see not my own strength, but the steadfast love that upholds me. And when the road is smooth, may I not forget that it is your grace that allows me to walk in peace. Lord, as this time of prayer draws to a gentle close, I sense the way you invite me to carry its peace into the rest of my day. It is not a goodbye, but a continuation, like the way the morning light slowly brightens the world without rushing. I carry with me the awareness that you go before me, walk beside me, and remain behind me, covering every step with care. This assurance does not make life perfect, but it makes life anchored in hope. God, thank you for the gift of this shared time. For every heart that has joined in this journey of prayer, I pray they feel the same quiet strength, the same renewed trust, and the same unshakable assurance that you are near. May these words echo in their spirits long after they've been spoken, and may they return to this space whenever they need to remember that faith is stronger than fear. To those who have walked with me through this prayer, thank you for staying to the end of this journey. I invite you to share your own thoughts, your own prayers, or the ways this time has touched your heart in the space below. Your voice matters, and your testimony may be the light someone else needs today. If this prayer has encouraged you, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel so we can continue seeking and strengthening our faith together each day. Share this with someone who might need a gentle reminder that they are not alone, that God's love is present in every moment, and that His guidance never fails. As I take one last deep breath here, I picture the day stretching ahead, bathed in the soft glow of a rising sun. The light is warm, but not yet bright, a promise of what is to come. A cool breeze stirs the air, carrying with it the sense of renewal that only morning can bring. In this stillness, I feel the steady pulse of hope, quiet, enduring, and sure as the world awakens and the journey of trust continues.